Um,
You didn't want to, y'all didn't want to be there?
Well, it's not that I didn't want to be. I always knew that I would be a mother. I didn't really, this is going to sound crazy. I didn't really grow up necessarily wanting to be a wife.
Now, social media is reacting to a clip of Kandi Burruss in an interview with Dr. Heavenly saying she always wanted to be a mother, but not necessarily a wife.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Are y'all tired of Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker yet? Let me know in the comments. Well, listen, social media is bringing out the clips, honey. When I say they're bringing out the clips, everything under the sun, every video that I didn't see, I am seeing now. Because to be completely honest with you guys, a lot of this stuff I did not personally know. I knew or always felt that the relationship was a little odd simply because of Candy's mama and her aunts, honey. Let's just keep it real. But I was very unaware of videos that they had shared in which it just seemed like Todd didn't get no damn respect. But listen, social media, honey, they finding all the clips, they finding everything, and they are proving they damn point. Because y'all know social media, the internet, Beyonce's internet is undefeated. Well, baby, they done found this clip of Kandi interviewing Dr. Heavenly. Now, I played a snippet of it, but that's pretty much it, in which she pretty much said, yeah, definitely want to be a mom, not necessarily a wife. Now, that is significant because I explained to you guys before, Kandi, from what she showed us, she grew up with a lot of strong women. Y'all know how her mama attitude is. I'm talking about her aunts and everybody else who who she grew up with, who helped probably raise her. So when she said this about not really wanting to be a wife, I totally understood her. And I believe this is definitely the attitude that contributed to the marriage that didn't work, because we know she has filed for divorce.
You didn't want to, y'all didn't want to be there?
Well, it's not that I didn't want to be. I always knew that I would be a mother. I didn't really, this is going to sound crazy. I didn't really grow up necessarily wanting to be a wife.
You didn't want to, y'all didn't want to be there?
Well, it's not that I didn't want to be. I always knew that I would be a mother. I didn't really, this is going to sound crazy. I didn't really grow up necessarily wanting to be a wife.
Now listen, guys, it is a true fact that everybody do not want to get married, and people have children and make the decision that, listen, we gonna co-parent, you gonna be my man, I'm gonna be your woman, but we ain't getting married. People do that. But what Kandi stated was very important, because she said, I always knew that I wanted to be a mother, not necessarily a wife. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because what I tried to let you guys know, and even by showing the different videos that I have showed, Kandi is the type of person that wants to, well, she has pretty much controlled her entire life. She has been successful. She's done some great things for herself. Not a bad person. People like her. Now, she may not be a good person for a marriage. As we have saw, it just don't seem like those relationships work for her. Now, what I mean by that is, a lot of times when you have people that have done so much for their careers, they done help everybody in their family, their cousin, their uncle, their aunties, and everybody looks for that person for help. It's very hard for them to enter a relationship, hence a marriage, because generally in a marriage, it's going to be a compromise situation where you guys have to compromise. Well, you're dealing with a person who has been the head of pretty much everything, her entire family, maybe even her friendships. Not saying that it can't happen, but it's very difficult for a person like her to be submissive. And in some cases, she may not even want to be submissive, okay? Because that is part of being in a marriage. Now, I'm not saying as a wife, you got to do whatever your husband say. That ain't being submissive. That's not hardly what I'm talking about. But as a man, they hold themselves very differently than women. As women, we cannot come off as a masculine, like we can't be masculine with your husband. Let him do that. You're supposed to be the soft, the feminine energy. But if you give off masculine, that is going to prevent, that's going to cause a problem in your marriage. So just listening to Kandi say she never really wanted to be really married, like that's just wasn't one of her things. But she said she definitely wanted to have children. Because when I look back at my life and all of my friends, cousins, and everybody who has had children, they either divorced, whatever happened in their relationships, not one said they wanted to have children, but did not want a husband. In fact, they wanted a husband, later wanted children, but nobody ever told me, yeah, I want kids, but I don't want a husband. Now, you hear that talk now in this day and age because people have realized that a lot of times relationships just don't work. Now, I thought that was a huge red flag to me in terms of Kandi, especially since now we're talking about how she filed for divorce. And everybody is simply saying, girl, that was nobody but Mama Joyce.
You didn't want to, y'all didn't want to be there.
Well, it's not that I didn't want to be. I always knew that I would be a mother. I didn't really, this is going to sound crazy. I didn't really grow up necessarily wanting to be a wife.
Video I made about how Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker will divorce. I called it a week ago that Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker are going to divorce. Why would I say that? Because Kandi Burruss goes out of her way to constantly belittle her husband. And then when other people belittle her husband, she doesn't check them, right? And when her mother belittled her husband, she didn't check her. You want to know why? Because she feels like her husband isn't good enough and that she should run the household. Because that's what happens very often when you're in a relationship with a woman that makes far more money than you. You know what happens? She feels like you are an underling, a little boy beneath her. I'm sorry, it's true. You remember that conversation that Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker had? And mind you, I don't even watch their show. I don't even know what show they have. I just seen clips that were sent to me, right? Todd Tucker said to Kandi, said, hey, yo, I need some space, right? Because you're always around me and I'm always around you. And you get to be around your friends, but I'm rarely around my friends. When that conversation started, the first thing that should have happened is, number one, the live stream should have ended. It should have ended, number one. Number two, Kandi Burruss should have said, hey, all my friends that are in the room, can you get out real quick? We need to have this discussion, right? Number three, if her friends respected Todd Tucker, they would have got out on their own, but they didn't. You want to know why? Because they don't respect him. So of course their marriage ended. No man should feel like a little boy around his woman. And no man should feel like his word means nothing in his household. Never, never. Some people are just supposed to be alone. And Kandi Burruss, you belittling your ex-husband like that, you know what? You're supposed to be alone, right? Todd Tucker, you not standing up for yourself. You had to take 10 years to get to this point. Guess what? You should be alone too. You're not strong enough. You are not assertive enough to go out there and put a woman in her place when she belittles you. Because sometimes you have to put a woman in her place. You have to sometimes. Sometimes you have to put a man in a place. You have to put people in their place sometimes. You got to remind them, yo, this is who you're dealing with. But it seems like he's just not built that way. I called it.